2020年度第1回実用英語技能検定1級リスニングテスト
The listening test for the Grade 1 examination is about to begin. Listen carefully to the directions. You will not be permitted to ask questions during the test. This test has 4 parts. All of the questions in these 4 parts are multiple choice questions. For each question, choose the best answer from among the 4 choices written in your test booklet. On your answer sheet, find the number of the question and mark your answer. You are permitted to take notes for every part of this listening test. Now, here are the directions for Part 1. In this part, you will hear 10 dialogues, number 1 through number 10. Each dialogue will be followed by one question. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The dialogue and the question will be given only once.
Now we will begin the Grade 1 listening test. Number 1.
I see you're reading Susan Horn's latest novel.
Actually, I just finished it. Have you read it?
Yes, but I wasn't that impressed.
Really? I thought it was pretty good. I liked the interesting characters and the plot twists.
Me too, but the way she wrapped it up didn't make any sense to me.
Really? I enjoyed the way it turned out. I was surprised when I found out who the murderer was. But looking back, there were a lot of clues.
I guess I should pay more attention to the details.
Question. What is the woman's opinion of the book?
Number 2.
I think I really blew my presentation. I was so nervous I could hardly talk.
Well, you were a bit shaky at the start, but once you got going, everyone was really interested by what you said.
You really think so? Public speaking is just not my forte.
But the examples you used to explain difficult scientific concepts were so clear. Even a dummy like me could get it.
You're hardly a dummy, but thanks.
Question. What did the woman say about the presentation?
Number 3.
Hi, Jane. This is Peter. I just flew in from LA.
I've been expecting your call. I just got off the phone with your client in LA.
Is there a problem? They agreed to give us the contract.
Not for long, apparently. 2 hours after you left, their chairman overruled the decision. It seems he's not convinced we're the right company to go with.
You're kidding. A week of work wasted.
Not necessarily. I suggest you get right back on the plane and try again.
Question. What happened after Peter left LA?
Number 4.
The Dawson's summer house was gorgeous, wasn't it? What do you think of us doing something like that?
I don't know. We'd have to worry about maintaining another home, and we'd have less money to spend on traveling.
Still, it might be a good investment. I've been doing a little research about it.
From what I've read, the second home market is more volatile than first homes. And remember property taxes.
Can you at least give it some thought? We don't really travel that much anyway, you know.
Okay. I'll talk to some people at work and see what they think.
Question. What would the woman like the man to do?
Number 5.
Sue, remember when you and Ted built that fence around your house?
Sure. What about it?
Well, I'm putting up my own fence this weekend. Do you know if it's okay to put it directly on the property line between my yard and my neighbor's?
To be safe, You should put it an inch or so inside the line so you don't encroach on your neighbor's land. Otherwise, there may be big trouble when selling either property. You should check with the town office to make sure, though.
Great, thanks.
Question. What does the woman tell the man to do?
Number 6.
How's your daughter doing these days? Is she still working on her PhD in astrophysics?
Actually, she graduated last year and was offered a research position at the University of Arizona.
Very impressive. I've heard Arizona is at the forefront of planetary exploration.
Yes, now she's part of a team searching for new planets and remapping the solar system.
Is that so? I've heard that the competition for those research posts is so tough.
That's true, but as a graduate student, she discovered a new star.
Well, no wonder she got the position.
Question. What do we learn about the woman's daughter?
Number 7.
What's wrong with your eye, Louis?
I don't know, but it's really itchy. I don't have insurance, so I can't afford to go to a clinic.
You should try Lens Makers. They specialize in glasses, but I went there for a prescription when I got an eye infection last year. The eye exam only cost about $25.
You're kidding.
You'll have to pay full price for the medication, though.
Well, at least I'll save something.
Question. Why will the man go to Lens Makers?
Number 8.
How are things working out with your new job?
Not so well. It's a full-time position, but I just learned that contract workers from outside get paid more than I do for the same work.
That doesn't sound right. What are you going to do?
I've only been working there for a few weeks, so I'll just hold off for now and bring it up with personnel when the time is right.
Well, I hope things work out.
Me too.
Question. What is the woman planning to do?
Number 9.
Did you see that article about how budget cuts are forcing school districts to slash services?
I did. I knew things were bad in some districts, but charging extra for bus service at public schools seems a bit drastic. We're already paying taxes, so it's like being charged twice.
I know, but districts could bring in $1 million a year that way.
I heard that another district has eliminated bus service completely for students who live within 2 miles of the school.
Well, kids nowadays could do with more exercise, so maybe that's not such a bad idea.
True, but a lot of people, myself included, are also worried about the kids getting hit by a car or something. I'm more in favour of cutting back on custodial staff. One district did that.
Yeah, I saw that. Janitors only come in 3 times a week, and teachers clean classrooms too.
Why not get the students to help out too? They might take better care of the facilities if they had more responsibility for them.
Interesting idea. And that it helped turn these negatives into something positive.
Question. What is one point the woman makes?
Number 10.
Sarah, let me introduce Paula, the new manager of the software development department.
Nice to meet you, Paula.
You too, Sarah.
Paula has an idea she'd like to run by you.
That's right. I've been wanting to ask you to help us develop new software applications. We need someone young and dynamic on our team to lend a different perspective. What do you think?
Wow. This is a bit sudden. I don't have a lot of experience with software application development. I've only recently started to feel like I can keep up with my coworkers in the hardware section.
Don't underestimate yourself. and you'd get a lot of training.
What about the project I'm working on now? Our team hasn't finished the design for the new tablet computer.
Most of the important work has already been finished. That's why I think it'd be great timing for this new assignment.
It's flattering, but I've really been planning to build my career around hardware. May I have some time to think about it?
Of course. But you know, Sarah, a willingness to broaden your horizons is one of the things the personnel department looks at when considering promotions. This could really work in your favor.
I understand. I'll give it my full consideration.
Question. What does the man imply?
Here are the directions for Part 2. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, A through E. Each passage will be followed by 2 questions, number 11 through number 20. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage and the questions will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
A. Mining in Cornwall. The history of copper and tin mining in the Cornwall region of southwest England dates back thousands of years. By the time of the Industrial Revolution, Cornwall was the world's leading producer of these metals. However, in the late 19th century, mining sources that were far more accessible were discovered in Australia and Malaysia. International demand for Cornish copper and tin collapsed, and thousands of miners emigrated to the Americas, where they found work in the iron industry. The last working mine in Cornwall closed in the 1990s. Now, Cornwall may be poised to return to its mining roots with a project to mine lithium, a highly conductive metal used in rechargeable batteries. Although lithium is relatively common, it is generally found at such low concentrations that extracting it is not economical. However, the underground hot springs that flow hundreds of meters beneath Cornwall contain high concentrations of lithium. In other parts of the world, lithium in underground water is extracted by evaporating huge amounts of water in gigantic storage areas. Researchers in Cornwall, however, are working on a project that utilizes new, more environmentally friendly processing technology. They believe it will eliminate the need for the evaporation process in storage areas and greatly improve the purity of the finished product.
Questions. Number 11. What reason does the speaker give for the decline of mining in Cornwall? Number 12. What is one advantage of the project in Cornwall?
B. Push and pull marketing methods. The rise of social media and internet search engines has altered how companies market their products. Until recently, most companies focused on push marketing, such as TV or print advertisements. Push marketing attempts to build awareness of a product among the general population. However, these strategies require significant financial resources and must reach a large audience frequently to be effective. Today, many firms rely less on push marketing because contemporary consumers tend to take little notice of traditional, broadly focused advertisements and instead seek out the items that they want online. Now, companies, especially those without large advertising budgets, are increasingly relying on pull marketing. Pull marketing, rather than raising awareness of a product or service, assumes there is an existing demand for it. By using strategies such as search engine optimization, companies ensure that the content on their websites will be prominently displayed when consumers search for a relevant product online. Moreover, Pull marketing actively involves consumers. For example, consumers are encouraged to write reviews on websites or share their favored products with others who have similar interests through social media. By doing so, they provide free advertising.
Questions. Number 13. What is one thing the speaker says about push marketing? Number 14. According to the speaker, what is true of pull marketing?
C. Cyrus the Great. Throughout much of history, the rise of civilizations and the spread of warfare have often proceeded hand in hand. One ancient ruler after another invaded his neighbor's lands, killed or enslaved the conquered peoples, and then forced his preferred religion and culture on those who remained. Following in this tradition, the ruler Cyrus the Great created an enormous empire by conquering several neighboring nations, including the powerful city of Babylon. However, it is said that Cyrus allowed people enslaved in those lands to return to their homelands and lifted various restrictions on religious practices. Although many scholars question the truth behind the stories of Cyrus, his policies inspired the writers of the U.S. Constitution and other documents that emphasize individual human rights. Cyrus's famous declaration can be seen on an object known as the Cyrus cylinder. According to one historian, the declaration is the first to say that when a society has people who use different languages and have different beliefs, it is not possible to impose one system on everyone. In addition, a statement by the United Nations says that Cyrus's empire was significant as a pioneering example of a multicultural, multi-faith state.
Questions. Number 15. What is one thing we learn about Cyrus the Great? Number 16. Why is the declaration on the Cyrus cylinder important?
D. Doubting science. Surveys indicate that some Americans refuse to accept well-established scientific research. For example, there are people who do not believe in evolution or in the safety of vaccinations. These science skeptics exist at both ends of the political spectrum and at every socioeconomic level. In other words, such beliefs do not correspond to education or upbringing. However, there is one common factor that appears to unite the skeptics. They tend to place more faith in the beliefs of the people they associate with on a day-to-day basis than in conclusions arrived at by scientific methods. According to geophysicist Marcia McNutt, the problem is a failure to grasp an important principle behind science. McNutt says people need to understand that science is not simply a collection of facts. Rather, it is fundamentally a method of inquiry, a way of determining whether a theory can be supported by experimental evidence. Results arrived at by this method sometimes challenge long-held beliefs and common sense, which makes those results hard to accept. However, when people refuse to get their children vaccinated, for example, human lives are at stake. Therefore, scientists need to make greater efforts to promote understanding and acceptance of how they work among the general public.
Questions. Number 17. What is one thing that influences the beliefs of those who doubt science? Number 18. What is one thing Marcia McNutt says?
E. Oxidative stress. The retina is a layer of tissue at the back of the eye. It receives light and processes it into signals that are transmitted to the brain. The process requires oxygen, however, and can lead to an effect known as oxidative stress. This can damage cells and has been linked to a number of medical conditions, including cancer and blindness. The cells of the retina are especially vulnerable to oxidative stress, as a significant amount of oxygen is used in this tissue. Researchers have discovered, however, that a compound found in raw coffee beans can prevent damage to the retina in mice. The effect primarily comes from chlorogenic acid, which protects cells. But in the experiment, the chlorogenic acid was injected directly into the retina, so it is not clear whether drinking it as a liquid would have the same effect. What is more, roasting coffee beans reduces the amount of chlorogenic acid they contain, so additional research is needed to see whether drinking brewed coffee can protect the retina from damage.
Questions. Number 19. What is one thing we learned about oxidative stress? Number 20. What did the research show?
Here are the directions for Part 3. In this part, you will hear 5 passages, F through J. The passages represent real-life situations and may contain sound effects. Each passage will have one question, number 21 through number 25. Before each passage, you will have 10 seconds to read the situation and question written in your test booklet. After you hear the passage, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The passage will be given only once. Now, let's begin.
F. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 21.
I've checked your current usage, and you often exceed your allotted time by almost an hour. Adding the Plus pack to your current plan will give you additional internet data for just $10 more, but won't change your call time. As for new plans, the Value Extra plan includes 120 minutes of call time, which is 60 minutes more than you have now, but your monthly allotted data would be cut a little. That one's $70 per month. There's also the Mega Mobile plan, which includes 80 minutes of calls, but would give you twice as much internet data as you have now. That's why it's a bit pricey at $100 per month. Finally, the Free Together service costs $70 per month and allows unlimited calls to family members on our network. Handy if you talk with them a lot.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
G. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 22.
Thank you, everyone. You have 1 more hour to set up your booth. If you haven't checked in yet, please do so at the welcome desk, just inside the front entrance. At check-in, you'll receive your welcome pack containing name tags, booth number, event map, and lunch tickets. If you have any issues with reserved equipment at your booth, go to the information table on the west side of the hall and show the staff there your confirmation receipt. If you need additional electrical equipment, we have spare items available on a first-come, first-served basis. Please pay for these at the information table. Then pick them up from the nearby inventory room. For other issues, the event organizer is available until lunchtime at the corporate services booth on the east side. Thank you, and we wish you a successful event.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
H. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 23.
Thanks for your interest in volunteering. First, there's the PALS program, where you can make a huge difference in a teenager's life. With the same teenager every week, you'd be doing on-campus activities or going to see movies or sports events together. Because building a strong bond takes time, this program requires a 2-year commitment. Next, our Life Trip program volunteers take kids on weekend day trips to parks and hiking trails. This can involve relatively heavy physical exercise, but is fun if you're up for it. You could also become one of our playground associates. You'd supervise and participate in physical activities and games here at the center's play area on weekdays before school starts. If you can't make a weekly commitment, join our handy helpers. You'd come in one Monday a month to assist in the cafeteria, do small repairs, or help with cleaning.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
I. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 24.
Unfortunately, you don't have proof the apartment was damaged before you moved in. The rental agreement you originally signed didn't mention any problems. This means you're not in a strong position legally, so going to court is not really an option. You could ask the landlord to contact previous tenants, but this could take time, and it's very unlikely they would want to get involved. Another option is to try to fix the damage yourself, but you could easily make things worse, and then the landlord might demand more money from you. Getting quotes from local contractors to see if their repair charges are less than your deposit offers the best chance of walking away with some money. You could show the estimates to your landlord and ask him to refund the difference.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
J. You have 10 seconds to read the situation and question number 25.
We'd be happy to have you all here for a tour of WTBT Studios. We have several broadcasters who could make time for your students. Brad Quentin is the host of Mornings Live, our daily morning news program. He's on the air from 6 to 8 a.m. and stays in the office until noon. Katie Ferris does our popular 10 a.m. political interview segment. She's a great interviewer and obviously knows a lot about the subject. She sticks around until about 1 p.m. Valerie Ortiz is around from 3 p.m. She does our nightly news broadcast at 7 p.m., which is a roundup of the day's local and national stories. Station manager Lance Bridges is also available by advance appointment, as long as there's no urgent station business. He can offer your students insight into the day-to-day running of our station.
Now mark your answer on your answer sheet.
Finally, Here are the directions for Part 4. In this part, you will hear an interview. The interview will be followed by 2 questions, number 26 and number 27. For each question, you will have 10 seconds to choose the best answer and mark your answer on your answer sheet. The interview and the questions will be given only once.
This is an interview with Nayalan Moodley, a filmmaker and photographer. Hello, everybody. Today we've got Nayalan in the studio. Welcome to the studio today.
Thanks for inviting me.
So, could you briefly explain what you do?
I am a freelance filmmaker and photographer, so I basically do just that. I speak to whichever clients come my way and I make movies or take photos for them.
Would you say there are any particular challenges of doing this kind of work, specifically in Japan?
Japan isn't really a country that is friendly to the sort of lone wolf, the one-man band producer. If you have a company name, it's a lot easier to find work. As an individual, many companies are reluctant to hire you. They rather work with another company just because of the tradition of we're a company, we do business with companies. And so finding clients is actually really difficult. The sort of clients you find are either other individuals, and I've worked with rock stars because they made a name for themselves the same way. They understand the hustle. And so finding sort of proper paying work from regular clients is a bit of a challenge.
On the flip side, are there any benefits or advantages for working in Japan that you see more of here than elsewhere?
Well, for me personally, I'm in Japan. I've gotten to travel the entire country through my work. I have been to everywhere except Hokkaido through work. And I've been to some places in Japan that you wouldn't ordinarily go to. Even if you were touring, you wouldn't go to some of these really small towns to try out some of these really local locations that many Japanese tourists know about, but not many foreign tourists know about. But from a work standpoint, I'd say the sort of look I can provide, the sort of my attitude to filmmaking is sort of my own. And it's partially because I'm a foreigner and it's partially because of who I am and the sort of person I am. My clients who come back to me like my work. And for me, that's a really good thing. I like that. And they're doing it because they like my style and my look.
So does that mean that you have complete flexibility and reign over your own work, or are you restricted in any way?
It's really project dependent. My photography, I'm almost completely unrestricted. If I get a photography job, I have an outcome, but how I achieve that is completely up to me. With video, there are usually many moving parts and coordinating between many other people. And you have other people in the production. Sometimes you need other camera operators, sometimes you need to have a sound recording studio, etc. So when there are other people involved, that also limits the amount of freedom I have. And very often your client does have the final say. And if you can be halfway through a project, and if your client says, yeah, we really need to change this, and it's fully within the budget and the contract, then you say yes. And even if it isn't within the budget or the contract, you generally say yes.
Mm-hmm.
And you turn on a dime and you have to change everything, but you do it.
Thanks so much, Nayalan, for talking to us. Good luck.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Questions. Number 26. What is one thing Nayalan says about working in Japan? Number 27. What do we learn about the video projects Nayalan works on?
Your time is up. Stop writing and wait quietly until the answer sheets have been collected.